Andrea Heuston here. I am the hostess really, of the Lead Like a Woman show, where I feature strong, amazing, brilliant, and sometimes really funny and fun female leaders and how they're changing our world for the better. We have over 40,000 people on social media who are sharing our message of empowering female leaders to empower others. And please keep sharing. The best way to help us is to give us a 5-star review on Apple. Go for it, please. In this episode today, we're going to talk about the connection between values and a successful business. But before we get to that, this episode is brought to you by Lead Like a Woman. We have a new newsletter, and it features past episodes, products and services from our podcast guests, exclusive Lead Like a Woman merch, and opportunities for you to elevate your voice. Send me an email to Andrea at leadlikeawoman.biz and we'll get you signed up for the newsletter today. And the best way to get me, just type hashtag Lead Like a Woman into your search bar. Or as always, I am just all over LinkedIn. Today, I have the privilege of introducing you to Dena Enos. Dena transforms how mission-driven organizations grow, strengthen their in-house talent, and give back in a new and meaningful way. She is the founder of Stronghouse, a data-driven marketing agency that has helped over 100 businesses flourish, while simultaneously paving a new path for social impact through her professional work. Dena's influence extends beyond her agency. She chairs boards, mentors future leaders, and actively shapes the landscape of organizations like Prosperity Catalyst and Strategies for Youth. Her dedication to growth isn't just measured in numbers. It's reflected in the positive ripples she creates across diverse fields. I wanted to say diverse ponds because, you know, the little pebble in the pond and the ripples, but diverse fields. So, Dena, welcome to the Lead Like a Woman show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, I am too. This is going to be a fun conversation. So, Dena, you began your career in corporate marketing for clients such as Nissan, TripAdvisor, and Hopper. What created the impetus for you to jump out on your own almost 10 years ago and start Stronghouse?
Yes, it's a great question. And some of it wasn't all my decision. I found myself at a crossroads in my career and also a personal transition where I was a first-time mother and really wanted to create a different work-life balance and also a way to give back when my free time or spare time was becoming fewer and far between. And so the concept was really, how can I connect and build with like-minded individuals, utilizing the work that I've done in the past, but also figure out a way to give back and pay it forward and have some involvement in the nonprofit space. And so the concept of Stronghouse was born, and ever since then, I have worked with just phenomenal clients who then either share with me their favorite nonprofit organization that I then do a give back project 100% free for them, or Amazing. I suggest an organization to them. And there's a great, introduction there as well.
So when you did that and created that model per se, how did your customers respond?
Yeah, it's interesting. So, and this is going to sound so silly and ironic, but when when I borrowed essentially this one-for-one idea that I was inspired by many other wonderful brands, including Tom's, I didn't necessarily think of it as a marketing hook. But it truly has turned into that, where as I have conversations with potential collaborators and clients, it is a way that separates Stronghouse from other agencies who they're speaking with.
Yeah.
And it's also been a really interesting way to start a secondary conversation around what matters to them, what inspires them, what they're passionate about, or what they care about outside of their professional work. And it's really been a way to sort of unintentionally align and find similar-minded people who want to excel in their professional careers, but also would like to make a broader impact.
It's very timely that you do that as well, because the world is focused on social impact. I mean, ESG is something that people really are focused on in the corporate world. Now, to define ESG for our listeners, because some of them don't know what that is, it's environmental, social, and governance. And those are the things that are really, really important to a lot of employees, but also a lot of customers.
Yes.
So you've done that beautifully.
When we're giving our dollars, that we're giving it to a company that is collecting more than just our email addresses, our privacy information, and our dollars, right? We want to know that they're making a broader impact or taking some responsibility with the financial payout that we give them.
Absolutely. I think that's so important. So, when people start a business, you often get asked the question, what went wrong? I don't want to know. I don't want to know that, Dena. I want to know what went right when you started Stronghouse.
Oh, I love that. Well, what's really exciting about it, and as I reflect on it, the thing that stands out to me the most is resilience. So when I was testing out whether or not I was going to do it, I took a chance on myself and joined a co-working space.
Oh, nice.
For a month. And I went to everything. Yes. And I said, okay, I'm going to get dressed, take a computer, go from 9 to 6 every single work day.
Wow.
And I'm gonna try to do the thing.
Do the thing.
Yes. And I met incredible people, many of whom became future collaborators or clients.
Wow.
And it really just got me in the right headspace and that entrepreneurial spirit that I had experienced as an early member of startup teams. But it's very different than sort of the small business solopreneur vibe, which is
so true.
Thing in of itself, right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
So I think what went right was just showing up for myself, and then essentially raising my hand and showing up for past colleagues and friends. I essentially offered a friends and family rate. I said, I will do this for this amount. I just want to get out there and work.
Yes.
And it really built from there.
Wow. That's really very cool and pretty incredible that you did that. I mean, not a lot of people who are starting a business say, all right, I'm going to create a structure. I'm going to go do this every single day, and then utilize those contacts and that network you create.
Yes. I mean, there were days where I felt a little bit foolish, for sure. You go and you're sitting down, you're like, everyone else actually has a salary. They're actually getting a paycheck. And I am faking it till I make it. But I felt very brave. I felt very brave. And it was also really fun.
See, that's important too. If you're not having fun, don't do it. I truly believe in the concept of ikigai. So it is that centerpiece where things overlap and you're in your genius zone.
Yes.
So it's so important to be able to really do something that fills your cup. Do you know what I mean by that?
I completely agree. It was one of the exercises that I did when I left my previous job and started thinking about what I wanted to do. And someone in my network who I just trust and admire so much said, just make a list of everything that you love doing. Yes. And then make a list, which is just as important, of everything that you dislike doing or would like to do less.
Right.
And for me, top of the list was meetings. I felt that in my previous 2 roles, I was in too many meetings. And I wanted to figure out a way to minimize those.
I agree. Oh my gosh. So I want to define ikigai real quickly for our listeners, because it's something that I fully believe in. And it's that crossing over, that space that crosses when you look at what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. And in the center of that, when all those circles overlap, that's your ikigai. That's your genius zone. That's what you need to be doing. And you have found that, Dena. Wow. So I want to know, we were just talking before we started recording, we were talking about the concept of the one for one. And like Tom's Shoes and many other companies out there now. So you said you were reading that book when you decided to do this. So how did you go about building a sustainable business model around your values specifically?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So what I had noticed in the Boston area, which is just such an incredible ecosystem of really talented, really skilled individuals. I had at first thought, well, maybe I'm just going to make a wholesale change in what I do. Maybe I won't do marketing anymore. Maybe I'll work in the nonprofit space, or maybe I'll go back to school and become a marriage and family therapist. I don't know. I was sort of entertaining lots of different things.
Nice.
And in my conversations with individuals in the nonprofit space, 3 things really came to light for me. Number one, there's just such a specific skill set that wouldn't have been impossible for me to do, but I had a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
In terms of where they had focused, just their knowledge base, their educational background. There was going to be some considerable catch up. Number 2, they were very interested in what I did and kept saying, like, there's nobody at our company who could help us with a social media calendar. Like, that is like speaking a different language to us.
Wow.
And then the third piece is so many wonderful, hardworking people, and they're all stretched thin.
They are. Oh my gosh, you're right.
They're all wearing 15 hats, and usually one of them is not marketing. And so it was almost like through those discussions of learning a little bit more of what the day-to-day would be like in the nonprofit space, I guess I found a little corner.
You did.
Where I thought, wow, this could be something where I can take what I have deep experience in, but apply it to this new area that I'd like to get more involved in, and it's mutually beneficial.
Yeah. Incredible. So you did a lot of deep research into yourself as well. You really looked internally and externally.
Yes, it was humbling. And some of that, again, was, not, some of it was just the circumstances of my profession. I found myself, about to give birth and didn't have a job anymore. And it was a really scary, humbling situation to be in. And I realized how much of my personal identity was tied up in my professional success and my professional identity. And it's really lovely to reflect now and be so proud of what I'm doing, but to know that it's just a slice of my identity. It's not the whole identity, if that makes sense.
It does, but what a great realization to come to. A lot of us are so tied to our business role, to our professional role. And so we believe that's our identity, and it absolutely isn't.
I always think about this conversation that I had with the CEO of TripAdvisor. So I was part of the marketing leadership team, but not on the executive leadership team. And oh my gosh, I didn't want anything more than to be on that executive leadership team. I asked all the time, like raised my hand all the time. And finally, Steve said to me, why do you want to be on it? Our meetings aren't that exciting. And what's so funny is, of course, it didn't take until many years later, having been in many different types of executive leadership meetings at different organizations, where I can agree, it is great to have a seat at the table, but those meetings aren't that exciting.
They're really not. Oh my goodness. I feel like it's death by meetings sometimes.
Yes. But he recognized I couldn't see it from my vantage point, but it's a great realization to have now, and just to put things in perspective.
Well, it gave you perspective.
100%.
What's important versus what's not. Yeah. So I want to move a little bit into what you do. So you have a marketing company, Strong House, and we've established it's a very cool one-for-one, and it's a business built around your values.
Yes.
So now I want our listeners to understand some of what you do, and you talk about optimized marketing. So first, what is optimized marketing from your perspective? And then what is the value of optimized marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I think about optimizing marketing, I actually think about it in 3 ways.
Oh,
The first is your people. It really starts with who's on your team, what are they focused on, what's their chemistry together.
Always.
And oftentimes it takes an external person to come in to help identify that. But every time that I work with a new company, I always reassure them, like, look, I'm not here to take your job. I'm here to make you better. And to me, the ultimate mark of success is when I transition out and finish this project, you get promoted. To me, that is, I knocked it out of the park. Grand slam.
Wow.
And then the second piece is really where you're investing your marketing dollars, either true budget or the time of your team members, right? So which channels are you choosing? And I think we often feel pressure to be in all the channels, or if you're doing social media, be on all the platforms. I like choosing 2, do them really well. And then you can always build on top of that.
Of course.
Right? Because there's diminishing returns and we're all non-renewable resources. So
that's true.
There's an opportunity cost for everything that you do.
There really is. And you have to realize that as well. And when you say that about the channels for social media, being everywhere just spreads you too thin.
It really does.
You have to be where your clients are. So find out where your clients are, right? And then use the channels.
Exactly. And oftentimes they're just seeing a similar message across multiple channels. I mean, if I see an anti-wrinkle cream on Facebook, it's okay. I don't need to see the exact same ad on Instagram. Do you hear me, Instagram? I don't need to see it again.
Well, they're owned by the same company now. So, well, why is it important then to recognize the strategic importance of marketing in driving business growth and customer engagement?
Yeah, so that kind of leads to sort of the third part of the optimization, which is really the synergy, where what you need to do is you need to create the right focus and the right strategy so that then the sum of the parts create something that is bigger than each of those individual pieces, because you're developing a halo effect. You're building a brand, you're building customer loyalty, you are separating yourself with unique value propositions that a customer can't get anywhere else. But you have to be very crystal clear about those messages and really focused. So again, 1 to 3, not too many, because it's just, we're so inundated as a society, as consumers, that we need help. We need help focusing.
There's so much information flying around now. I think about my childhood sometimes, and I'm old, but my childhood did not include cellular phones. We had a phone that was hooked to the wall, not even a phone that you could just walk around
I loved that phone. Yeah, I would run to pick it up,
I know. Now I don't want to answer my phone. Because half the time it's spam. Can you just text me? No. So it's really interesting how the information age, well, I call it that, but how it's changed. I mean, there's this free flow of information, but not only that, you can find anything online that you want, need, anything at all, but it's all coming at us as well. So we don't have to search for it anymore. It comes to us. And sometimes it's overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. And it feels invasive, or it feels predatory. And there really is this right balance between how do you build out your lookalike audiences or your, your segments on an online platform, or how you think about it through email. And I really think it's about like distilling that conversation to something that is sincere and authentic. And again, to be really focused. Oftentimes emails from brands are too long, or they contain too much information, and there's no shame in breaking it up. And you can always A/B test and evaluate whether a shorter message performs better than a longer message. It's interesting that you mentioned thinking about your childhood, because I also think about, so the thing that I think about is when you had like your favorite song and it would come on the radio at exactly the right time. And you just feel like you were bestowed this brilliant, perfect moment from the universe. Well, now, our children can just say, hey, mom, I want to listen to this song for the 50th time.
True.
And there isn't that, you don't get the nod from the universe, but everything is available to you at any time, which then kind of makes you want maybe what you don't need, which again kind of ties back to how can you give back? How can you look outside of those wants and needs to find fulfillment in other ways?
It's so true. I love your example of the songs, the music, because I was a kid who had a tape recorder. I had a little boom box with the tape in it. And when my favorite song came on, I'd hit record. And
of course.
Yeah, almost always, though, you get a little bit of the DJ at the front.
Oh,
which It annoyed me.
And I bet you memorized exactly what the DJ said before you started singing the first verse of your favorite song. Oh,
absolutely.
Totally. I am there.
That's so funny. Yeah, technology and information and the internet has really changed things, which is good in a lot of ways, but also not good in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
How do you break through with marketing? How do you break through the noise? How can you give our leaders one tip to break through that noise? What would you say, Dena?
I think it's about empathy. And what I mean by that is you need to truly put yourself in your customer's shoes, in their position, and ask yourself, if I were on the receiving end of this ad, what would I need to hear to understand that your product is what I need to make a difference in my daily life?
Empathy. It's true.
I really think it's empathy.
Because you need to understand and you need to know what your customer wants or needs.
Yes.
Otherwise, you can't get them to buy. Or at least check you out. Right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So then I want to ask another marketing question because I'm having fun with this, but how can we encourage collaboration between marketing, we're talking companies, so between marketing and other departments for a holistic approach to customer service? Because a lot of those other departments don't understand what marketing does and also don't see the value.
Yes. I can't believe you asked this because I was just talking about this about 2 hours ago with a new client. And they recently have started working closely with product and with sales, and everything had been siloed before. And what I had shared with them is that I view marketing as the connective tissue of a company. And so you should be the champion of your customer, and you should be laying a strong foundation for all of these other groups, whether it's a sales script, it's a customer service script, it's how product describes the services and the products in a deck, but from the lens of what the customer needs to hear. Yes. And then each of those groups can build from that. Of course, there's customization for their unique audiences, but there needs to be a consistent framework and baseline that the marketing team sets as sort of the connective tissue of the company, and you help get it out.
You do.
It's an exhausting position to be in because you really have to be the ambassadors, and you need to be negotiating and compromising all the time with your internal teams. But when you build those relationships, they really pay off.
They do.
Because then you can start saying like, hey, we noticed in our ads when we use this language, we got a 30% higher click-through rate.
Wow.
How does that translate to how we describe our product features, right? Or would this information help you in terms of where you're directing your R&D, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes we can find something in like the chats that are happening online, and then you can create an updated FAQ, or you can use AI to sort of like preload some of the most frequently asked questions within chat, and then it reduces customer support time so that they can be dedicated to other things within the company. So
Wow.
You have to talk. You can't shy
Right.
away from that position. And it's super overwhelming to start, but it's so
Yeah.
critical, and really gives the marketing department an opportunity to be a leader.
It does. And so talking about it like the connective tissue, I mean, marketing touches everything and should. It's just like the line that you say when you open a business to everyone who works there, everyone here is a salesperson. But you know what?
Yes.
Everyone here, in order to be a salesperson, needs the right messaging and marketing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes. And it makes it easier for each of them. And I think what's important too is that you share that this is something that evolves. It's a living, breathing document. It will change over time. As you give us new data points, we collect new data points. I often encourage my colleagues within marketing to see if they can listen in on sales calls or product calls, just to get a sense of.
It's how you learn too.
It's how you learn. You really can understand your customer's position, what kinds of questions they're asking. And similarly, on the customer support side, where are people having issues? Where are they frustrated? So you can try and get in front of it.
So important. Wow. So, I would love to ask you, what kind of advice would you give women who are going to jump off that boat and start their own thing? What would you say to them?
First of all, definitely do it.
Yay!
Yes. And I think the biggest piece would be that you can set your own pace and your own tempo.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be hitting certain metrics or markers in order to be a success. So for example, if being able to set your own schedule or work with exactly whom you'd want is high on that list, that's a success. That's a win, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary or metrics related in order to be considered a success.
Right.
And I think especially, the reality of our society, where often we have double income households or individuals who have many sources of income in order to make ends meet, you can walk before you run or jump into it. And that kind of just makes it all the more sweet when you're able to really seize it as your full-time profession.
So I love that. Just do it. Just do it.
I think just do it and know that you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay. You should celebrate the wins, big and small, honestly.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, Dena, then I want to know from you, you've likely had mentors and advisors and people who helped you along the way. What is one thing somebody said to you, one piece of advice they gave you that really still resonates to this day?
Yes. And I also just quoted her this morning too. So this is Christine Peterson, who I met as the CMO of TripAdvisor and is a mentor and dear, dear friend.
Oh, I love it.
And she said to me, run, don't walk with bad news. And I think that's exactly right. So if you identify something that's a potential challenge, an issue, a big screw up, the best thing to do is to just approach it head on, share it internally. What I like to say, how I'd like to go to that conversation is, here's the thing that's wrong. I've got 3 ideas in mind. I don't know if they're going to work.
Right.
Do you have any other suggestions or any other ways that I should think about this? So you don't want to go to the conversation completely dumbfounded and empty-handed. But truly, it's so much better to just address those things head on. And I've honestly done that with clients as well. So it's only happened twice in 9 years, but there have been 2 instances where I've raised my hand fairly early in the engagement and said, I just don't think that this is the right combination, because what I am suggesting or proposing, your company doesn't feel comfortable to move forward in.
Right.
And if we don't move forward on initiatives, I'm not going to be able to impact the metrics. So let's figure out how I can transition out and find you the right resource.
Right.
Again, I'd rather walk away with integrity and knowing that I identified a mismatch from the beginning, rather than drag it out and have it be an unsuccessful relationship on both ends.
So important. I love that quote too from Christine Peterson. Run, don't walk with bad news. So important to remember. Don't hide it. Don't hide it. Just get it out there. Head on is the best approach. Just get it out there. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, Dena, I believe that every woman on earth has a superpower. What's yours?
Okay. At the, I've been thinking about this, and there's always the pressure to say something very deep or.
No, there's no pressure for that here.
Well, I think kindness. I think kindness is my superpower. I really do.
And what an incredible,
me really far in life.
What an incredible superpower to have.
Thanks. It feels good too.
Yes.
Good at the end of the day.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that superpower of kindness with us.
Thank you.
So we've had a wonderful conversation with you today, Dena Enos, founder and CEO of Stronghouse. Dena, where can we all find you online?
Yes, you can find me at LinkedIn or at www.stronghouse.us.
.us. Remember that. We'll put that into the show notes so people can find you. Thanks for being here today. This is so fun.
Thank you so much, Andrea. It's been amazing.
Great conversation. And listeners, I want you to remember we all have superpowers. Dena has the superpower of kindness. I have superpowers, and listeners, you have superpowers. Please go use them for good. The world needs kindness. And thank you for listening today to the Lead Like a Woman show, where we are passionate about empowering female leaders to empower others. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.